So here we go, I'm finally getting you guys the PayPal video you asked for. I apologise for the delay, but it was just a crazy week in the stock market last week. And with it being Monday, hopefully there's not too much crazy news out there just yet until we get later in the week. But it's been a while since we talked about PayPal. I think it's been over a month, and obviously they've just brought out the Q2 earnings, so there's a bit of new information out there. So I'll talk about what is the new information from last time we talked about it. Obviously, the stock has performed quite well as well. It's been on a bit of a rally recently, which has been nice. We're going to talk about the stock and if the valuation is still okay at the moment and if there's still potential for the stock to 2x from this price. So for you guys that wanted a PayPal video, here you go. If you could, just hit that like button and let's get started. So PayPal stock. Last time we talked about PayPal stock was around about a month ago, and that video actually did really well. I wish my videos could get that many amount of views all the time. Oh, look at that. Even had my England top. But that was to mean when England got into the semi-final of Euros. It all started going downhill after that, didn't it? But yeah, talked about PayPal, and I said, can PayPal get to $100? And it looks like it's on its way to $100. In that video, the stock was actually, let's just go back a bit here. Where was the stock price? $58 on that day when I recorded that video, and obviously the stock is now $71. So it's actually performed very well since I recorded that video, up nearly 25%, which has been a very good rebound in the last kind of month or two. Seems like a bit of interest starting to grow around PayPal. It's about time. It's about time the stock started to really start kicking on, because PayPal has really, I mean, obviously, this was a $300 stock in 2021. Overvalued, I will say that now. I wasn't a PayPal shareholder in 2021, but most stocks got overvalued, didn't they, in 2021? But I became a PayPal shareholder maybe about a year ago, yeah, during that time frame I've been buying quite heavily, and all I've seen in the last 12-18 months is, as I've started buying the stock, the financials get better and better, and yet the share price hasn't really kicked on. And hopefully this is the start of it really kicking on, because it's really struggled. Like, you look at PayPal, and every time it got previously to, like, I'm not a chart guy, I'm not a big fan of charts, and I'm not very good at them either. But every time it got to $67, it just could not get past it, and we finally started breaking out and got to $71. And actually, year to date now we're up 16%, which is a lot better. I think before that we were actually, like, when I recorded the last video on PayPal, it was negative year to date, but now we're actually positive, which is about time, because when you look at the company, it's absolutely been smashing it. So let's look at the company anyway. So they brought out their Q2 earnings since the last time we covered PayPal, and they were very, very good. I did a full review on Patreon, but just a quick overview of those earnings. They were excellent. I think I gave them even 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 on the Patreon when we reviewed the earnings. This is the most impressive part for me, is the EPS beat by 0.20. Now, well, worth pointing out non-GAAP EPS, but yeah, this is a really good beat, because what we're seeing is Alex Chriss really focused on growth, but he wants to make sure it's not profitable, not growth at all costs. He's got to make sure that it generates profitability to the bottom line, and that's what he's really focused on. And when you look at the EPS side of it, that's what's happening. Like, when you're coming in with these sort of beats, you're coming in with nearly like 20% beats on EPSs. This is very, very good. And the more this starts happening as well, is like you start looking at the forward P, it starts bringing the valuation down, because you look at like 16 times forward earnings at the moment. It's only going to make it cheaper, and there's actually something else that's going on in the background that's even making it even more attractive right now. But yeah, total payment volumes up 11%, as you can see here. If you look at the guidance, the guidance was pretty good as well, which we want to see. But something that went under the radar is obviously Alex Chriss is doing a really good job there, and he's driving a lot of new initiatives in PayPal. But he was talking about, like, returning more capital to shareholders, and he's increasing, because of how well they're doing, he's increasing the share buyback. But I was really surprised to see this, like, not pushed up to higher on the press release. Like, they increased the share buyback from 5 billion to 6 billion. 1 billion is a big, quite a decent increase on a 73 billion market cap company. And there was just, you might have missed it, and that was another increase where they're going to now buy back 6 billion worth of stock this year. And you look at the share price, that's a good amount of stock that they're currently buying back. So you look at the company at the moment, all these things that they're doing inside the business is only driving profitable growth, as Alex Chriss says, 8% a year. And because of that, the stock's getting cheaper. You add in the share buybacks, which are really starting to kick in now. When you look at the shares outstanding, they're really starting to come down now. This stock is coming cheaper and cheaper the more you're looking at it, because of all these combinations of beating earnings and share buybacks. This company 70 times earnings, 60 times forward earnings. I already think a company like PayPal should be a premium company. This is a premium company in my opinion. Like, this should be trading 25, 30 times earnings. The fact it still trades below 20 times earnings is just insane to me. I still think the stock is still pretty good value at the moment, considering that, when you look at how well they're executing and also how they're buying back the shares. And some more positive news that came out in the last like 2 or 3 weeks. So the other thing is that Adyen tapped up PayPal to offer their fast lane service. So this is something they do to make quicker payments. This is something that Alex Chris has launched in the last 12 months, and it seems to be doing very well. He did a few remarks on the conference call how well it's doing, and obviously another company like Adyen, if they're, we heard something on the lines of the conference call of like, PayPal said like, hey, we're actually having people come back to us and like trying to say like, can you do this? Can we work with you? And that's a really positive sign. If people are like, hey, Alex Chris here, PayPal has been a bit stagnant. It's fallen a bit behind in the last kind of couple of years, and it's not kept up to the other business, and it's not been able to reinvent himself quick enough. Alex Chris comes in here, and he comes out and he's really trying to get PayPal back to what it was good at, and he's bringing all these new things into the business. And obviously, if you're bringing all these kind of things into the business and you've got the likes of Adyen going, hey, we really want to work with you guys, it's a sign that Alex Chris is doing all the right things. And I think when you look at the financial performance, share buybacks, we can judge him now. Alex Chris has been the CEO since August last year. He's 12 months in now. We can actually start judging him as a CEO, and everything that I see at the moment is just really positive from Alex Chris. Obviously, the other thing, a lot of people make a big deal out of Apple Pay and saying like, oh, that's a killer to PayPal. I've always said like, I don't think it is. Apple Pay has been around for like 10 plus years. It's nothing new. But Apple Pay are going to open up its NFC Pay service. A few people point out that potentially this could be a new tailwind that PayPal could potentially have as well going forward. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but a few people are pointing it out as something major. But overall, what you're left with here is a company that is doing very good amounts of profitability. That revenue is growing, that profitability is growing. It's got a good balance sheet, obviously. That's why it's been able to throw off, all them share buybacks into the business as well, which has been really good. And I guess, let's look at some numbers. Where could potentially PayPal go? Can it still 2x from these sort of levels here? So when we do look at PayPal, I have put a share buyback in because obviously it's buying a ton of shares, so I've got to put some share buyback in. Put around about a 5 billion share buyback in over the next 5 years, which I think is achievable. 5%, 8%, 10% of revenue growth. I think it will come somewhere between that 8 to 10% revenue growth for the next kind of couple of years, so I would be looking somewhere around there. Profit margin of 12, 13, 15%. It's currently doing a 14% profit margin. I think Alex Chris could potentially drag that profit margin up to even higher than 15%, so bear that in mind. Put multiple 20 times earnings in. Like I said previously, I don't think PayPal should be a 20 times earnings company. I think when you're a company like PayPal, you should be a premium company. Like, this is one of the best companies out there, with Alex Chris there now, and I think it should be trading at a premium. We'll see if it gets there. I'm going to put 20 times earnings in to just start off with, just because it should be a market average company at least. And if we look at it at the moment, is on the low side. There's still upside on here, so that's very good from a risk point of view. Mid side, some decent upside. On the high side, you're just about scraping the 100% return here. So it still looks like now would actually not be a too bad of a time to buy. I think that really taking advantage in like that 50-60 range would have been very good, but it's definitely still got potential to 2x from here if it does hit those higher numbers. The big thing that I'm hoping for is that multiple expansion. I do think this company will go trading at a premium once again. I think personally for me, I think this company should trade more towards like at least 25 times earnings. I think that would be a lot fairer. I think you could make the case for 30 times earnings. 25 times earnings, you do have good upside there, so if you think it can have that multiple expansion, you're going to do really well. I think it will happen, but we'll see. Even if it doesn't happen, I think you'll still, do okay from this. But I think that's, at these levels, if you're buying, I think that's what you've really got to hope for. Let's just be a little bit crazy. Let's say it does go to like a really big premium and it goes to those 30 times earnings. If you think that can happen, you've got a lot of upside here. And I think there's a chance it can happen. I've been more comfortable around 25 times earnings than 30 times earnings, but I think that could happen. Overall, looking at where PayPal is right now, is PayPal still a stock that could potentially go 2x? I think so. I think the big difference from where we were when I was making these videos, a month ago when it was $58, it didn't really need much to go right to do very well. This point view now at $71, I still think you'll do very well holding the shares. I think you just need, if you are going to buy now and you want to make over 100% on the stock, I think you just need to have a bit more of a multiple expansion, which I think you will get we'll see what happens. I think the difference from when I was making those videos here is that you didn't even really need multiple expansion. This could have traded at 20 times earnings and would have still done very well for you. Now you need a bit of multiple expansion, which I think when PayPal, if they consistently do these numbers, I think you'll get it and you'll do well. So I would just say that the risk to reward has swung from where it was at $58 to $71. I think the risk to reward is a little bit, in the more riskier range now than the reward. The risk side has increased a bit more, but I still think the reward is massive. So that's the only difference that you have here, is that it was a screaming buy a month ago, and now it's a buy for sure. So yeah, my updated thoughts on PayPal is that from where I did the video a month ago, yeah, I still think PayPal can get to $100 for sure. I just think that when you look at the 2x side of it, I think it can still get there. I just think that maybe you could have bought maybe a month ago, but I still think that PayPal could potentially really 2x from here, and that is my answer on that one. So that's the video on PayPal, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great week, and I'll see you in a bit.